Hello there and welcome back to the channel and welcome to beautiful Greece. Once again we're in the gorgeous Mani Peninsula and once again we're heading up into the hills. We're going to show you some really beautiful and slightly remote traditional Greek villages, and we're starting off up on the hills, and our first port of call is the delightfully named village of Pigi. So Pigi is basically the first village that you come to as you climb up into the mountains from the coastal villages of Agios Nikolaos and Stoupa. It's a very beautiful little village with a lovely church and a fantastic taverna where we've ate a couple of years ago with our lovely friends Vasso and Petros. So we'll show you that, and it's very, very traditional here with beautiful views down to the coast.
Can you imagine though, trying to walk up here at night? We came back in the dark.
We did, yeah.
It was quite dodgy.
It was quite dodgy, and let's hopefully it won't be today. Yeah, we're nearly at the bottom of this staircase. It really is dodgy. You really have to watch where you're treading. Straight away, there's a house for sale for you. A bit of a doer-upper. Yeah. Let's just hope it doesn't rain. But what a view.
I made it.
You did. It always makes me smile when I see the name Pigi on a sign. P-I-G-I. What is it about? Nothing to do with pigs. I should have researched this properly before we started this video, but as far as I can remember, when you see a Greek place name that has Pigi in it, it means well.
Or water,
it's
yes.
a water source.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
So this is a village called Pigi. It literally means well. And there's a village a bit further up the hills towards Kalamata called Pigi. So maybe that means Stavros' well? I don't know. Somebody put me right. Probably nothing like that at all. And this, would you believe, is really the main route into the village. You can't really drive into this village. It's full of little narrow passages and staircases. But, having said that, here's a car. Oh my goodness. He's bought his car, oh yeah. Wow. I don't think I'd be bringing my car down here. But isn't it pretty? It's really traditional, this is.
My goodness.
Well, what was I saying? Just ignore me. Yeah, of course the locals know what they're doing, but you do see a lot of cars with dents down the side. Another one for sale here. Comes with its own roof terrace. That's quite nice, isn't it? How pretty this is, isn't it? Some lovely blue shutters in front of us. Can't believe that car just drove down here. And here's the lovely church with its taverna alongside its walls, where we ate with our friends a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Milea.
Isn't it just beautiful?
Kalamata.
Look at that. The beautiful old church here in Pigi. That house just on the right hand side up the lane. We were just talking to a lovely Greek lady who lives there, but actually she lives in the USA, in Michigan, she was telling us, and she comes back for about 5 months a year to live in her own house back here in Greece. Best of both worlds. Lovely. And just alongside the church here is the lovely Taverna. We'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get there. Can't get much more of a Greek scene than that, can you? How much do they cost in garden centres back in the UK? My goodness. Here's another one of those little washing areas where you can get your water, and I think people would used to come down the steps to do the washing as well back in the old days. Magical. So right next to the church is this wonderful taverna. We've eaten here with our friends Vasso and Petros, and when the guy that runs the taverna brings out the first course, he brings out a massive big tray, famous across the whole of this area, with loads of different options for starters, and you just take off whatever you fancy. It's absolutely superb.
It's all local and all cooked.
All local, beautifully cooked. And look at this for a wonderful view across the beautiful village of Pigi, looking across the mountains and down to the sea. Some of the tables have got little inscriptions on them, and Nina's got her Google Lens app on a phone. And what does this say?
This says, they say a glass does a lot of good, so the whole bottle will logically work wonders, right?
Makes sense to me.
There's little messages on all the chairs
Yeah,
as well.
it's lovely. It really is lovely. So peaceful here. There are houses for sale here. Some may need some work, some may be completed. And like all these Greek mountain villages, they turn out to be bigger than you think they're going to be, because there's so many little alleyways, steps, little hidden corners. But if you want something totally authentic, then this is certainly that here in Pigi. And at night you can hear the jackals and the wild boar rustling around in the undergrowth. Look at those mountains, the Taygetos mountains, up to 8,000 feet at the highest point. They even ski in some parts of the Taygetos in the winter. So you could ski and swim in the Mediterranean on the same day. It's an interesting place to park your tractor, eh? And another tiny little church up those steps. This will be one of those that probably just opens one day a year for its name day, for its own saint's day, and maybe for family occasions. But wherever you go in Pigi, you've got this view. Just can't take my eyes off it. Just imagine some of the local guys sitting here on their chairs, putting the world to rights. Lovely picture of guitar here. Bazookies, actually.
Oh yeah, they are.
They are bazookies. And just
Can we
look at
move
the
the basil?
beautiful Taverna sign up there. Isn't that just gorgeous? Sorry, what were you saying, Nina?
Just moving the basil out.
Just
of the
moving the
way.
basil. So if you fancy a little trip out from Stoupa or Agnic and you want somewhere really authentic to eat, come here to this Taverna in Pigi. Absolutely gorgeous, and fantastic food as well. Just a sneaky glimpse inside. Gorgeous. Right, we're going to make our way back up to the car and move onwards, higher and deeper into the mountains. Of course, if you just look down there, I don't know if you can pick it up on this camera, but in the distance you can see Stoupa. And if you're thinking to yourself, surely the postie, poor old postie around here doesn't have to go to all those houses, down all those steps. No, he doesn't. He just comes as far as here, pops them into the relevant box. And as you can see, they're all open. They're just relying on honesty, but luckily people are very honest around here. How Amazon get on, I've no idea.
This is a bus stop with a view.
Wow.
It's gorgeous.
I'll come up and have a look. Right, so we've climbed even further up into the mountains. We're now in the beautiful village of Milea. Not many tourists come here because it's well off the beaten track, but it's definitely worth exploring. It really is very pretty. Starting off with a beautiful church here. And this village is split into two. There's a lower part and a higher part. We've parked in the lower part of the village. This sign always makes me laugh. It's been the same for donkey's years. Nobody's ever corrected it and made the T's into D's. Little information board here about the village. There's lots to see actually. We're still in the West Mani district, the same as Agios Nikolaos and Stoupa and Pigi where we just were. And just underneath the car park, and for once in an accessible position for the elderly relatives to go to their graves, here is Milea churchyard, the cemetery. Well, you've heard me mention our friends Vaso and Petros. Well, they live down in Agios Nikolaos now, but they've got land here. This is the home village, and they said it's still beautiful, but not many people here anymore. It's a good drive from here down to the coast, and probably most people don't want to do it every day. And so there's a lot of houses that are empty. People have moved away or just abandoned them. Here's a case in point, a bit of a doer-upper again. And they love to show how the churches were before the restoration. I remember them doing work on this church quite a few years ago. This is the Church of Metamorphosis, the Transfiguration of Christ Saviour, and it's the parish church of Fagrianica settlement, which is part of the larger village of Milea. And of course, now we've come higher into the mountains, it's a little bit cooler up here, I think it's gone from 32 to a rather chilly 28 degrees Celsius. Whew, time to get the coat on. In fact, the lovely lady who we were speaking to in Pigi a few minutes ago, she said, oh, it's much better now, it's cold. It's been 34 degrees this week in this area. She thought it was cold, but compared to July and August, when it was as high as, I think, 47.
47.
Our friend Valerie told us.
Yes.
My goodness me, that's too much, isn't it? What a pretty little square this is here as we start to climb up the hill. Used to be a taverna here, but it's now just a private house, so I won't film it because there are people sitting there. But isn't it pretty? Now, I don't know if you can see, you might have to be watching on a big TV for this bit, but just in the lee of the mountains there, on the right-hand side, just underneath the right-hand side slope, you can just see the top of a building. That is the monastery of Panagia Yatrissa, known amongst the expat Brits in this area as the Space Station Monastery. And I'll show you the start of the road up to the Space Station Monastery in our other video where we visited the village of Castania. And there are various different routes up there, all of them very exciting, and I think it's easier from the other side of the mountains, but apparently when you get there it's spectacular because you can see both sides of the peninsula, so you can see down to the Laconian Gulf to the eastern side and the Bay of Messenia on the western side. So we must try and get up there someday,
yes.
But I think it'll have to be somebody else who does the driving. And this is very typical of the little passageways here in Milea, and indeed in most of the Greek mountain villages. And there's a little gorge down here, and it does look a lot better than it did a few years ago during the big storm that I mentioned in one of our other videos. Yeah, so here you can see a dried up riverbed and a pretty little bridge there, and it comes from underneath the road and up there. And in our Agios Dimitrios Pantasi video, I mentioned the big storm that they had a few years ago in this area. We arrived the day after. It caused absolute chaos. Right up here in the mountain villages, the rain swept down, all these dried up riverbeds filled up, and they took with them loads of debris as they went. There was bins, there was bits of cars, there was anything that was lying around that could be carried away by water was done.
Half of the terrace above us, you'll see in a minute, it's beautiful now, but that went.
Yeah,
it all came down.
Took out the whole side of a house up here as well, and of course it all ended up down at the bottom, just in piles and piles of rubble. But they managed to sort it out, and nowadays you'd barely be able to tell that anything happened. Yeah, this is the gorge. Can you imagine this full of raging water coming down off the mountains? I think didn't they have the whole year's rainfall in just
24 hours.
In 24 hours? Yeah. Caused absolute chaos. But the Greeks are a very resilient people, and within days they tidied it up and life got back to normal very quickly. Right, so we've climbed out of the lower part of Milea, and this is the upper village that you can see in front of us. You can drive up there, but we've left the car in the bottom part, and we're going to take the pedestrian route, which Nina is absolutely delighted about, as you can see. And yet another little church. And of course nobody else but us mad Brits would be doing this walk up all these steep steps in 30 degrees Celsius. And of course the advantage is, as you climb higher, the views get more and more spectacular. And we made it up into the main square, bustling on this Sunday morning. There's the church in front of us, and the Taverna on the right hand side. We might just have a drink there in a minute. It won't be alcoholic for me today because I'm driving. Might just be a nice frappe, and the lovely trees shading the square. Oh, it's a hub of activity here this morning, and I think it's pretty safe to say we're the only non-Greeks in this square, which is lovely. That's how I like it. So we have found a beautiful little shady spot to sit. Cheers, Nina.
Cheers, Yamas.
Yamas, iced tea again for you.
Lemonade today.
Oh, lemonade today.
Yeah,
and for me, una frappe sketo megala, which means with milk, no sugar.
In a mythos glass.
In a mythos glass.
That's brilliant.
Perfect.
It's got mythos on.
Absolutely perfect. Anyway, enjoy. 12th century, the main church in the square in Milea. So this is the parish church of the upper part of Milea, and on the sign it tells us this is the parish church of Xanthianica, which is this part of the village, and again pictures of the restoration. So there we go, Nina, the bustling hub of Milea. Isn't it just wonderful? I felt so special to be sitting here, and we've done this several times here before. Everybody's so friendly, and we're the only non-Greeks here, and it's just great, proper Greece. Only in Greece. And look at the old range here. Isn't that just fabulous?
Beautiful.
That would be amazing in an old kitchen somewhere, wouldn't it? I bet you could still restore it, you know. Right, we are back off down the hill to the lower part of the village, and the views open up as soon as you leave the square. This is what greets you. And I didn't notice this one as we were climbing up, but yeah, it's another church. Look at the old bell there. Fabulous. Doesn't look like it's regularly used though. Another one of those that maybe is just open for its own Saint's Day. Back down the steps towards the lower part of the village, and then we're going to move on across some very pretty mountain roads to another absolutely delightful Greek mountain village.
Have you told them how the priest has just arrived in the main square?
I haven't actually.
Oh, so funny that.
Yeah.
So funny. A great big red, bright red 4x4 starts to roll up the hill into this square, bigger than the square it felt. And inside you could see a little black sort of hat. And it was the priest.
The priest in full robes.
In full robes.
Long grey beard.
Yeah.
He was driving this great big Nissan pickup truck thing, and he managed to park it in the square, didn't he? And then he got out and sat with the...
He slid out of it because he was too small, really.
And he sat out and started to have a drink with the guys sitting in the square there, putting the world to rights. A very Greek scene, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Back down in this delightful little square. This is what used to be a taverna. The first time we came here, this was an actively running open taverna. Nowadays it's no longer that, it's just somebody's house. But it would have been lovely just to sit here in this square and while away the day. And here we are back in the lower square, and the very pretty church here. So there you go, peeps, the very pretty village of Milea. Definitely worth a visit if you've got a hire car and you're staying down in the Stoupa or Agnic area.
And at this time of year we've just walked over, oh gosh, we've walked over figs, we've walked over walnuts brushed against oregano. It's just fabulous, a real out of the way place, lovely. And you can see some beehives here. Now the mountain thyme around here is just, you can smell it. And lots of bees, so I think we'll move on.
So we've driven a few kilometres from Milea, and here we are in the beautiful mountain village of Kariovouni. It's famous for its wonderful taverna here. Another completely pretty Greek village. You can see here how big the water gets at certain times of the year. That's a big water channel, totally dry at the moment, but imagine what that would have been like during the big storms a few years ago. And I bet the people who lived in these houses were getting very nervous. And another gorgeous little church, just look at this. And it doesn't look very old, does it? But I suspect it's just undergone a more recent renovation, like so many of the churches in this area have, that makes it look almost like a new build. And despite that, looking at the sign up here, looks like it originally was built in the 14th century. Looking pretty good for a 700-year-old building, isn't it? And this is what brings most people to Kariovouni, this wonderful taverna on the side of the waterway, or dried up waterway as it is at the moment. Very famous across this area for its beautiful food, and looking quite busy, relatively busy for a tiny Greek village on this Sunday lunchtime. The village water supply as would have been back in the day. Obviously it's had a more modern tap fitted now. And this is another one of those villages that was really badly affected by those floods all those years ago. But what a fantastic place to come for your Sunday lunch or even an evening meal. The only thing about coming here in the evening, of course, is that you then have to drive back down those windy mountain roads to the coast in the dark. Yeah, we couldn't resist it. We decided to stay for lunch. It's so delightful here, isn't it? Anyway.
Just wanted to be here for ages, haven't we? So it's lovely. So yamas, everybody.
Yamas, yamas. Yamas indeed. Alcohol free because driving. So good, you see. But anyway, what a beautiful place to be. Cheers. Right, the first part of the meal has arrived. We've got tzatziki. We've got a cheese that we've never tried before. It's called tagliani. Taligani, which tastes very much like halloumi. We've got some big beans, the gigantes, which we love. And on the way, we have got lamb in the oven.
Yes.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Delicious already. And here's the main course, lamb in the oven with chips. Absolutely lovely.
Thank goodness we had one portion between
I know,
us.
it's vast.
God. This is the gentleman doing the cooking, the chef, and it was beautiful. Mercy.
And right next to the taverna, we've just spotted on our way out a tiny little church. Might be a bit dark in here to film, but let's just see what we can see. Oh, and more of these wonderful old frescoes on the wall. You can just see part of them here. Fabulous. Tiniest of little churches. And here's our little motor, and that's the road we've just driven up. And Kariovouni, where we just had that most wonderful lunch, is way down in that dip and off to the left.
Hiding.
And where we came from, Milea, is all the way down that road in front of us, down into that valley, round to the left, round to the right, all the way over there. And here's the gorge. This is the Tipani Gorge. If you've seen our video where we visited Pantazi Beach, that's where it comes out. You can see what a gorge it is. And the majesty of the Taygetos Mountains, just beautiful. I really love it up here. It's so peaceful, isn't it? It's just us, the wind and the scenery. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's about it for this video. That is a wrap, I would say. Hope you enjoyed our second video up here in the Greek mountain villages. Today we've been to the beautiful village of Pigi, and then we moved on to Milea, and we finished off in lovely Kariovouni and that stunning taverna. And my goodness, what a great Sunday lunch that was. We're both stuffed, aren't we?
Absolutely. And we shared one portion between two.
Yeah, that is more than enough. So hope you enjoyed those. There'll be more to come from Greece on this little series, so hope you watch those as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, that would be fantastic if you could do that, because it does push the channel forward just a little bit, helps us to try and increase the numbers just that little bit. But just to reassure you, I don't make a penny out of this channel. It's not monetized. In fact, it costs me a lot more than it will ever make, so don't worry about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Give us a like if you want to, and we'll see you again on the next one.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yamas, yasas, kalispera.